Hey guys, I have a really fun DIY for you. If you're crazy obsessed with page flags such as myself, then this video is for you. I've started making my own page flags because I got tired of going store to store searching for page flags at the different Targets in my area. And a few weeks back I had posted on Instagram, and in the background some of you had seen that I had a package of page flags and had asked a couple of questions on where I had purchased those. So I'm actually going to show you how I made my own page flags and how you can make them too. It's a really simple and easy DIY. It's a lot of fun because you're utilizing your scrapbook paper that you have on hand, like in your scrap box, or you can buy scrapbook paper that's on sale all the time at the craft stores. Okay, so to give you a quick rundown of the materials that you'll need to do this page flag DIY, you're going to need some tape, a pencil, some of these butterfly clips, an extra pair of like super sharp scissors. That's like real important. And then you're going to need a page flag. If you don't already have your own set of page flags, I'll list the sizes below of this page flag so you can kind of do a rough sketch on the exact dimensions on how the Target page flag is made. You're going to need a cutting board. And then you're going to need an assortment of scrapbook paper pages. You know, most of this stuff you probably already have on hand, and a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to show you two ways to make this. The main way that I made these flags was by using my cutting board here. And I'll show you another way by using just regular scissors. And I forgot one other material item that you're going to need. You're going to need a sturdy piece of cardstock material, so you can make a trace template for doing this little project here. So first things first, before we get started on cutting out our scrapbook paper, you're going to want to take your Target page flag, the one that you tore off of your original pack, and you're going to apply that onto your cutting board. This is going to act as kind of like a measurement guide for when you're cutting your paper strips. So this is like real important that you want to kind of tape this down. That way you're not having to actually just move this yourself along the cutting board. You want it just to be stationary on here. So I'm just going to measure on here and just kind of line this up, and this will give you like a guide as to how far wide your paper will be cut, and it'll give you the exact dimensions when you're cutting your paper strip. So you're just going to kind of place this down here, and then I'm going to take a piece of this clear tape and I'm going to apply that over the page flag. And I've already got one done here, so I can kind of just eyeball it and look and see, but you want to kind of line that up as close to that grid line as possible. If you have one of these paper cutters, you know that it's got a little scoring section. It's kind of got like a little indentation. That's basically where you're putting your page flag, right into there. So it's basically stationary and it's not going to come off when you're cutting your scrapbook paper. The Target page flag sizes, if you don't have one from the start, like to use as your template, the sizes are roughly under just a little over 1/2 inch in width. And then in length, they are about 2 inches. So if you can kind of just hand sketch that out onto maybe a piece of cardstock or, some other kind of sturdier paper, you can use that template and tape it to your cutting board to kind of help you use it as a guideline. Now the little page flags are on the cutting board, we can go ahead and start cutting the strips. I started out using a full 12 by 12 sheet of scrapbook paper. You can cut these down into fourths. That'll probably be a lot easier, and here's why. Because one whole 12 by 12 scrapbook page yields about 100, probably more than that, in page flags. And I have made like a ton of page flags. I've got like a box here. I've got page flags out the wazoo right now from just doing this project over the course of probably maybe 2 or 3 days. I've just been cutting strips and then cutting out the smaller flags and everything, but I'm basically set with these page flags here. But I'm actually working on some goodie bags to give to some friends. So let's get started cutting some page flags. I'm just going to take this full sheet to kind of show you how I've been doing the process. But I'm just going to set this on my cutting board like so, and I'm going to use these templates that I've taped down as my guide. I'm just going to basically bring this paper all the way up to the edge where the page flag is, and that's my guideline as to the width of the page flag strip. Then I'm going to score it, and you got to make sure you hold it. And then I'm going to cut it all the way up. And there's your page flag strip. And so just to show you that the measurement is roughly the same size as the page flag that we put onto the cutting board. It's basically the same size all the way across. And so that, by taping them to the cutting board, you're kind of giving you that guideline to how far over you should bring your paper, because that is the width of the page flag. And so I've gone through and I have already cut a ton of strips. You know, here's the one I just cut, and then here's some that I've already cut. I actually have doubled up on the pages with my cutting board. I think these cutting boards can cut like maybe 5 pages at a time, but I just did 2 just to kind of be safe. But the blade on here is kind of dull, so I was able to cut 2 pages at one time. So I was able to get a ton of strips at once. Now I'm going to cut my assortment of scrapbook scrap pages. I've got various sizes here. I'm going to go ahead and cut those into some strips so I can make some more of the page flags. And I'm just going to set this on fast motion just to kind of give you an idea roughly like what you're going to be working with if you're trying to make them yourself and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to get started cutting. As you can see, it was a fairly simple process just cutting these with the cutting board. If you use the scrapbook paper, you can double up or even add 3, maybe 4, depending on your blade, how sharp the blade is. Mine is pretty dull, so I can get about 2 good cuts through the paper with just 2 pages. But I've made just, you know, an assortment here of page flags, and again, just to show you that they are the same size as the page flag. Here's the target page flag, and here's the strip of paper that I've just cut. And they are basically the same width by cutting it on the cutting board. I'm going to show you how to make the page flag strips by using just regular cardstock and a ruler, a pencil, and some scissors. And so you're just going to take one of the page flags. Again, if you don't have the exact flag, you can just draw it out, you know, with the dimensions, and then kind of just tape this to like the edge of your cardstock, because we all know that the page flags from Target do not stick well. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue stick, which is what I'm going to use for the ones that I made myself too. And so I'm just going to kind of stick that there as like a guide, just a temporary. And then I'm going to take my ruler and just kind of measure all the way down and then just draw a line. I'm just making one little template that I can use to trace on the back of my scrapbook paper. There's the line that I drew, and there's the width of the flag, and it's, you know, exact all the way down. So then you're just going to cut this strip out, and you'll use this strip to trace on the back side of your cardstock. Now if you have a steady hand, cut straight on that line. It might be a little crooked, which is why I like to use the little cutting board right here, because it's basically straight all the time. But you'll roughly get the same, you know, page flag decoration as you would if you use the cutting board. So then I'm just going to take my little strip that I made here, and I'm going to place this onto the back side of my cardstock, kind of line that up, like so, and then I'll just trace that with my pencil. So here's the line that I just traced, right there. And then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to use regular, like, crafting scissors for this one. And I'm just going to cut directly on that line. Again, if you've got a steady hand, you can probably cut, you know, 2 or 3 pages at once. Like so. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. And there's your page flag. And then you can just match that up again with your page flag to see, like, the width. And it is a little bit, like, by cutting it by hand, you're not going to really, well, I didn't. It's a little off, but it'll still be a cute page flag. So with that, you've got your strips, so you just go through and do the whole page, you know, as many as you want. We need to make another template, a page flag template. So you're going to want to use another one of your Target page flags, and you're going to use that sturdy cardstock that I was talking about earlier. And you're going to put this on here and just trace it with a pencil. You're going to need a template so you can use it as a measurement guide when you're actually drawing out the flags on the back of a strip. So I'm just going to trim this out real quick just to kind of show you. I guess I could have used a lighter cardstock, but this is what I had that was on hand. Like so. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but I've trimmed out my page flag like that. And then now I'm going to take my sharp scissors so that I can cut precisely like the points. And so I'm just going to trim this page flag like so. And there's the page flag. Now we're ready to assemble all of our strips. These are the ones that I cut just a moment ago. But you're just going to take all the ones that are the same length and kind of gather those together. And then once they are together, that's when you're going to start the back side, the blank side here, where you will trace your page flag. Okay, I'm just going to take my template that I just cut out of with the cardstock, and I'm going to place that to the back side of the page flag, of the strip, so I can create the page flag. And basically you're just going to trim it out like so, like this. And then you're going to pick that up, bring the straight edge to the points, draw your points again. I hope you can see this. Pick this up again, put it down to the points, and then draw the points again, all the way down until you're basically run out of room. So here's a closer look. The page flag like so. Now you're ready to kind of cut these strips. I've actually gone through, I think it's a lot easier if you kind of do this like the Henry Ford assembly line method. Have all of your strips ready to go. So I've got a couple of strips here that I've done earlier that I've been working on, different colors and patterns. I have a lot of them here actually. So I've already gone through and basically have added all of my pencil marks to where I know I need to cut. I've grouped these into, I think I've got 4 at a time, 4 strips. So I'm going to cut these blue ones right here and show you how to do the page flag. So these butterfly clips I just kind of use to bind all of the matching papers together. So the 12 by 12 page will yield like 6 page flags on one strip. If you're not using scraps from your scrap box, the full 12 by 12 page will give you 6 flags. Just to kind of show you what I've done, I've kind of grouped them into 4s and I kind of staggered them, and then I would paper clip them together with the butterfly clip until I was actually ready to cut these. Sometimes I would cut them when I watch like television, or just, you know, if I'm sitting down at the craft table. But I'm just going to show you real quick how to cut them. All right, it's real important that you have them all lined up at the edge. I guess if you're left or right. So I'm, right, I cut with my right hand, so I'm going to hold this with my left hand. But you want to make sure it's always lined up on the straight edge, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So I have my page flag here, and I've got my index finger and middle finger. I'm kind of holding it really tight. The straight edge is pretty much flush. And then I have my thumb and ring finger placement on the second flag. And I'm just going to take my sharp scissors, and I'm going to cut straight across from the tip of the page flag, the little points right here and right here. You're just going to cut straight across like so. So there's like the start of the page flag, an individual page flag, but then you leave a nice flush edge for the next page flag. So the reason why I was saying you want to hold it tight and why it's important is that when you cut straight across, you're actually making the back side of the next page flag, and so it's important to kind of have everything flush so that they'll all be the same when you cut the next line and the next line all the way down. So I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to do this kind of like the assembly line method. I'm going to cut all of the straight cuts, kind of just place these all out here until they're all completely done, and then I'll go back and trim them up and make my page flag. As you can see, I have all the strips cut, and these are all the same blue floral strips that we started with. And so I'm going to actually go through now and trim them up. I'm going to cut the points out of the flags. And there's the page flag. So it's fairly easy. The end result is like awesome, just to have like an assortment of page flags to use, when you're decorating your planner pages, calendar pages, and whatnot. So I'm going to finish up these, and just to show you that there are like 4 or 5 pages in here that I'm cutting by hand. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's like 4 pages that I'm cutting, 4 strips that I'm cutting the final point on here. So that's why it's important to kind of use some super sharp scissors, so that way you can actually be precise when you're cutting the tips. And that is it for that pattern. So I'm just going to clear off my scraps here, and then I'll show you how to assemble these into a little cardstock book, like so. Okay, so basically you are done at this point if you don't want to add them into a cute little decorative book that you can put into your planner, or you can just leave them individually like this. I'm just using mine individually like so. I have like a cute little tray that I can put some of these in and just kind of shuffle through them when I'm decorating my planner pages. I can just kind of go through and pick out what I want and just keep them stored in a little case like this. Okay, and I just wanted to show you before I started packing these away that these are basically the same size that we cut from using a template of the actual Target page flag, and these are the ones that we made in the video. So just to kind of show you that they are basically the same size, you know, just like that. And, you know, I figure, you know, I would just leave mine loose and put them, like I said, in a little cute little case or a little zip bag and use a glue stick, because we basically are using a glue stick with these Target page flags anyway. So just wanted to show you that real quick, that they are basically the same size. And I'm going to just store some of these in a little zip bag here. I bought these little baggies at the craft store. You can find them like in the jewelry section. I think they're called like beading bags or jewelry storage bags, but they come in a lot of different sizes. I use these like when I'm doing crafts. I use them when I pack for trips. I think they're great for like organizing small little things. But if you want, you can go through and kind of count out a couple of these page flags if you're wanting them to be in cute little packages. Like the Target Dollar Spot has these really cute cardstock folder holders, I guess you would call them, I don't know. But I'm going to show you how to make the little case. Okay, so to get your page flags into a cute little decorative cardstock folder here, you're going to actually have to kind of count out a couple of these and gather them together. I'm just eyeballing the amount. I don't have time to sit here and count these. So I'm going to just probably grab a couple like this and kind of stack it. Now, since they are homemade, it is a little bit thicker than the Target page flags, which is what I like too, because the scrapbook paper is a lot sturdier. Even though you're going to use like your own glue stick on the scrapbook paper, it'll still work really well as a decorative page flag. And so it's going to be a little bit thicker if you're going to make your own booklet. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a couple of these page flags. I probably have maybe 25, 30 kind of stuck to, probably not even 30, stuck together like so. You're going to kind of line the edges up, the little straight edge, which is important why you had a crisp cut with the scissors. You're going to line those up nice and tight, hold them tight. You're going to take your butterfly clip, one of these like that. I recommend just using the butterfly clip and not a regular paper clip. The butterfly clip is a little bit stronger to kind of hold these together. And you're going to line that up kind of towards the edge like so. So once that's lined up with your little butterfly clip, you're going to take some glue, and I'm just going to use like some tacky glue. You can use school glue. You're just going to use a little bit of this. You're not going to use a whole bunch. And hopefully this is not dried. Okay. And I'm just going to dab this kind of like on the end. If you've made books before, this is a similar concept where you just kind of apply a little bit of the glue towards the end, on the edges of the paper, and, you know, kind of run your finger over that and let that soak in a little bit, and then let that dry so it becomes one booklet. So you're going to let that dry. You're going to do a couple of those, however many you want in your booklets. And while these are drying, I'm going to show you how to make the little cardstock booklet like this one. Okay, so while these little page flags are drying on the binder clips, we're going to go ahead and make our cardstock folder for our page flags. So I'm just going to use my cardstock here, just a plain white sheet. You can use any color you like and get like creative with it or whatnot. But I'm just going to use a plain white sheet for this example here, since that's what I've done on this first pack that I made. So I'm just going to kind of open this up like so. And this is roughly, I don't know, I'll put the size, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'll put the size below of this little cube. And I'm going to actually trim a little bit larger than what the actual Target card is, simply for the fact that my page flags are probably a hair, you know, bigger, and also too a little bit thicker since I bound these myself. And then the paper quality is a little bit thicker too than the page flags from Target. So I'm going to make my little card a little bit wider to store the ones that we made. So instead of putting the cardstock right up to the edge of the white cardstock, I'm going to actually leave kind of like a border around it, just so that my cardstock that I cut will be a little bit bigger to accommodate the homemade page flags that I just made. So I'm just going to trim out with my pencil, just really easy, you know, just kind of going around like so, like that. And then before I move this up, I'm going to mark the placement of where it kind of indents a little bit. It kind of folds over to cover the base of the page flag. So I just made two little marks right here. There, that'll kind of tell me where to score the center of this card so that it can fold over the page flags like so. So it'll fold over like that. So I'm going to cut this out and then I'll show you how to assemble it. So here is my cover that I'm going to use for my page flags, and now I'm going to go ahead and score this, and then I'll fold it, and then I'll be ready to attach the homemade page flags. So you can kind of see the little indentions that I made from the scoring, so that way I can fold this over like so, and it leaves kind of like a little grid line in the back where that's where we will actually kind of attach some of the page flags back here, and it will fold over to the top. So the page flags are dry, and I'm just going to remove these binding clips, and then you can see that they're attached, you know, with just a little bit of glue. It's like a little mini tear pad is what you made. But now that they are all dry, we can go ahead and assemble them into the little cardstock folder. So I have my cardstock folder here, and then I'm going to use just regular glue stick. Basically just going to take the glue stick and kind of run a bead of glue down the side of the card here. Kind of like a generous amount, just like so. I mean, you can kind of see that it's like pretty sticky. And then I'm going to take the page flags here and I'm going to attach them to the back side of the page of the card. I'm not going to put them into the little indentions that I made with the scoring, because that's going to be like the fold over to where it'll cover the straight edge of the page flag. So I'm just going to press that down like so, and then I'm going to attach all the rest of them as well. So as you can see, it was a fairly simple process to kind of create your own page flags, and you can go through and match up different patterns. You can have all solids. And here's the page flags. The glue has dried a little bit on the back side, and so there they are. They're stuck in there. I know, you know, with us all being planners and probably scrapbookers and crafters, we have a ton of scrapbook paper on hand, which can be utilized for making our own decorative page flags. And no more of this, you know, running and, you know, trying to find the page flags game at Target. So that's just kind of like a fun DIY that you can do yourself. And here's just a little comparison. Here's the Target page flags from probably, what, a season or so ago, 2 seasons ago. Here's the ones that were just made in the video, and these are the ones that were featured in my Instagram. So, you know, you can see that they're basically the same size, you know. This is a little bit overhang because I cut this a little bit larger. Using scrapbook paper to make the flags, they are a little bit thicker than the Target page flags. So, you know, depending on your thickness of when you bind them together with the glue determines how, you know, big the cardstock folder should be. Let me know if you liked this video. Give this a thumbs up. Share this video with your other planner friends and crafters. And thanks for watching. Bye.